which people lived in Crete 15,000 years ago. Now, Crete is the very big long island between the Aegean Sea of Greece and Egypt, Israel, halfway across the Aegean Sea, the Mediterranean Sea. We know it from the Palace of Knossos in Heraclean Crete and the Minotaur and the labyrinth of the Minotaur. And I've been to this palace quite a few times. These pillars here were actually wooden. They were turned upside down so that the trees wouldn't take root again, and they were painted red. Red and black is basically the color known from Knossos. Now, from the ancient Old Testament, we know that the Philistines actually came from Crete, and that they were quite big. They were giants, let's put it that way. We also know that the Cretan DNA was found in the Native American Indians around the Great Lakes region. But what was it that, what kind of people lived in this island 15,000 years ago? I'm translating from a Greek article for you. Aris Poulianos, a well-known professor of anthropology at the University of Moscow, identified in Crete a finding of great scientific importance, as he characterized it, both for the history of Crete and for the spread of man in the Aegean, the Eastern Mediterranean Sea, and the islands there. Specifically on the south coast of the island of Crete, about 4 kilometers west of Hierapetra, in the area of the village of gr.jpg, Lasithi, in a rock of fossilized sandstone, which protruded from the sea by about 80 centimeters, at a distance of about 80 meters from the beach, the fossil of a mature human skeleton, about 35 years old, was discovered. The finding was made back in 1964 by Emmanuel Papaikis, a high school teacher in the Kastelli plain of Heraclean Crete. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. However, at the beginning of November 1966, on the initiative of the Cretan high school principal and representative of the Hellenic Speleological Society, having to do with caves, Plataki, a private mission was organized on the island in order for Aris Poulianos to personally examine the interesting find of this 35-year-old human skeleton. Indeed, the distinguished Greek anthropologist immediately realized the seriousness of the find and went to the area in order to save the bones from the erosion of the sea. He tried to extract what was still intact, such as the right hemisphere of the skull, which he eventually received and handed over to the services of the Prime Minister of Greece. Aris Poulianos, in his statement, stressed that the find was a few thousand years old and was the first proof that Crete was inhabited at least 15,000 years ago, hence from the Mesolithic age onwards. The authoritative scientist stated this: "I do not want to say with certainty that this human skeleton is a Mesolithic find before I study it carefully. However, he belongs to the oldest man who ever lived in Crete, according to what we know until today," he said. Further, Poulianos explained that the skeleton was found there because 14,000 to 12,000 years ago the sea level had risen and covered some layers of land throughout the Mediterranean. He also stressed that the geological composition of the rocks in this area of Crete is suitable for the preservation of similar findings. In addition, in the area of gr.jpg in Lasithi, on a neighboring rock, fingerprints of a human denture were found, while information arrived near Lenta, Heraclean, there were 2 more fossilized human skeletons. Aris Poulianos concluded this: "The human skeleton, which was discovered in the area of gr.jpg, shows that it is a find of a new 1,000 years in an alluvial rock of the Holocene, I firmly believe that the Aegean had been inhabited since the Paleolithic age, that is, 25,000 years ago. Crete was inhabited later without ruling out the possibility that it was also inhabited during the Paleolithic age. For the time being, the data we have testify that the island was inhabited 7,000 to 15,000 years ago. The news was published in the newspaper Eleftheria, meaning freedom, on the 10th of November of 1966. And this is from a Greek article from the Adrastika. I'll leave a link below for you. And please leave me your comments about this. Thank you for your support.